The situation in South Sudan, as it is, as we speak right now, is particularly very concerning. We have 1.7 million people who are externally displaced as refugees. We have 1.9 people displaced from their homes, people that have left their homes from when the conflict started in December 2013.
So nobody's talking about this. Why is nobody talking about this?
There are instances where South Sudan has been discussed in the media, but given the gravity of the situation itself, the experiences that civilians in the country are going through, it is a surprise that we do not see South Sudan in the media, or that people do not discuss the situation as well as it should be discussed. But discussing the situation is one thing, and having discussions that led to an end to the conflict is another.
So what do you want fellow Africans to know? What do you want the world to know today?
I mean, the conflict in South Sudan today is a result of not only a myriad of issues. A lack of political leadership is one of them. And this lack of political leadership is also evident within the region. And it is important to have solidarity across Africa for this conflict in South Sudan. This agreement has not brought an end to the conflict. It has not brought an end to the corruption. It has not brought an end to the suffering that South Sudanese are going through. So it is important that there is collective support from all this, from all these institutions and areas of governance and areas of business, to ensure that South Sudanese leaders at the end of the day can account for the human cost, for the financial cost, for the cost of the conflict in South Sudan itself.
It's been decades. I remember in the early 1990s working on the lost boys moving down from South Sudan, and for me in many ways it seems unbelievable that decades later South Sudan is still in crisis. And the question I would then ask you is, as a young South Sudanese, do you feel that Africa and the world has abandoned a cause that we should be focusing on?
It's been a merging of conflicts going back. Certainly when I sit here, I think about our futures that are being jeopardized, our futures that are being lost and stolen from us and being plundered. And so there are instances where you feel that, yes, Africa has our back, or that there are people that care about the situation in South Sudan. But when it comes to the political level, that is lacking. When I was in Gambia a few months ago, a taxi driver was asking me, how is the situation in your country? So certainly people resonate, people hear about it, but people do not understand it. And the continental support, especially at the African Union level, at IGAD level, it feels that it has collapsed since the peace agreement was signed in August 2015.
Some of the very simple questions. Is it possible to have an absolute ceasefire in South Sudan today? We have to ask ourselves, do South Sudanese lives matter? And if they matter, why are we not putting our feet down for the children, for the men and women of South Sudan, for that society? What can be done? What must we do? Let's do it. Final words to those who could make a difference. What would you say? Let's all take action to remind every single South Sudanese, that their lives matter, that, all our lives, all our futures are not jeopardized, and that the independence that we so rightfully earned cannot be taken away from us.